Welcome to the Dark Zone, an adventure racing podcast.
It actually bombards your senses. And I mean, you can't really understand that concept if you've never been to India. Your senses are so awake there. You know, the food, the villages, the interaction with the people, the friendliness. I mean, I really think we've discovered the gem here. And then this is only one little pocket, one little valley in India.
Well, for me, the action is the juice. I'm in.
I need you, brother. Sensei, please.
Courage, Bob. Courage.
That's it. Courage. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you.
Say the word, Chef.
Whatever.
Adventure Enablers, the leader in adventure race tracking, timing, and race directing, brings you the 2026 Shenandoah Epic Adventure Race, April 11th to the 12th. Registration is now open for the 15th year of one of the East Coast's longest-running 24-hour adventure races. Trek, bike, paddle, and navigate through Virginia's stunning Shenandoah Valley and the rugged Massanutten Mountain Range. New for 2026, multiple transitions that'll keep you moving and strategizing for the full 24 hours. Whether you're an AR veteran or hungry for your first epic challenge, this is your rite of passage. Push limits, chase sunrises, write your story in the wild. Register now at adventureenablers.com. That's one word, adventureenablers.com. So recently, I was introduced to a new product, which is the NthAdventure, a carabiner water bottle. A family friend is part of the team putting it together, and he shared it with me, and I want to share it with you. So NthAdventure it's a carabiner bottle. It has the carabiner built directly into the handle. Also, you can clip it to your pack, your bike, your harness, whatever you want to clip it to, and it will hold whatever's inside, cold for 40 hours and hot for 20. So long-lasting insulation. It's a nice thing to have in your pack, in your bin along the way. On top of that, NthAdventure, as part of their social responsibility, gives back 5% of their profits go to protecting lands and lives impacted by climate change. So check it out at NthAdventure.com. That's NUATAAQ.com. If you use the code TheDarkZone, you can get a 10% discount and some free shipping. So take a look at this new bottle. Obviously, anything that we get from that code usage will be poured right back into the Dark Zone in support of the podcast and all the sponsorship activities that we have around the sport. So once again, take a moment, check out NthAdventure.com. Take a look at that water bottle. If you like it, you want to order it, feel free to use that code, the Dark Zone. Discount there and some free shipping. And if you like the item and the product, let us know what you think about it. We always like your feedback. Thanks. All right, folks, welcome back to the Dark Zone, episode 149.5. Why not 150? Well, 150 is a special episode, and so we're working on that one. And I wanted to get this one out to you first. We are excited for our newest ARWS race to be held in India. And Ajita and Sayeesha and Heidi and Stephan do a great job this episode talking about the race and where it came from and how to get there, and all the excitement that goes with that. So sit back and relax and enjoy this episode of the Dark Zone, an adventure racing podcast. And remember, if you keep racing, we'll keep talking. Welcome to the Dark Zone Adventure Racing Podcast. This is your host, Brian Gatens. One thing that we love about adventure racing is it's a worldwide sport. Racers come from all over the world, and there's races all over the world. And we love throwing a spotlight on new races that are coming onto the racing calendar. We have the organizing team for Adventure Mechukha. It is a new race coming in India. And we have, it's funny, they're all race directors. That's how we described it in our pre-interview conversation. We have Stephan, Heidi, Ajita, and Sayeesha. They are the team behind this new race, and I'm delighted to have them on the show. Love to bring attention to people who are gutsy enough to bring new races to new areas. So Heidi, I'm going to kick it to you first. This is a new race on the ARWS calendar. It's an exciting race that we have coming on here. Can you talk about the vision behind bringing an expedition level race to this area and why this location matters on the global AR map?
Hi, Brian. Thank you again for giving us this wonderful opportunity to speak to you and to promote our absolutely exciting and wonderful event in India. As we had a pre-discussion, it's always important for me to mention to people in the audience who are listening is that, I'm sitting here with my Adventure Mechukha hat on today. And with respect to all the wonderful races around the world, I'm in the privileged position to have daily talks and discussions with, like you say, it's like a worldwide series. So we have adventure races in the most remote and extraordinary places in the world. And that is what making ARWS series so extraordinary, where we have this marketing platform where we put them all together in one family. But for ARWS series, exactly like I said, we are a worldwide brand and series that promotes and develops and encourages and want to spread the love of adventure racing around the world. So for us to have a premier event in India, it's a must. India is such a big and wonderful destination, and we speak more in this conversation. You will hear that it is such a vast and big landscape, and it's unexplored. And once you put your foot in India, and anybody who has been before to India will know, it's that you don't need to find adventure in India. Adventure finds you in India. And it is, and again, when we were in India, it is like I kept on saying, is the unimaginable. You just cannot put words to it, what you explore and see in India. So on the brand of ARWS series, to have such a unique event in such a massive, big country, to develop the sport there, it is an absolute privilege on the ARWS series side to have a premier event. And again, an honor for me on a personal level to be part of this event, more than just having an event listed on the qualifier races. So for us to have a qualifier event on this part of the world and continent in Asia, this is the only qualifier race in Asia. So it's definitely a landmark, and we're definitely going to push it as to be one of the best, if not the best race, of course, organized event in the ARWS series brand. That's what I'm here for.
Well, every race director thinks their race is the best race, which is what makes ARWS races so special. For my next question, Ajita, I'm going to come over to you with this question here, because I do eventually want to get to Stephan and Sayeesha about the logistics around the race and the distance. But I really want to give you a chance, Ajita, to talk a bit about the state and the region of India in which the race is taking place. And the reason I want to start with that is that India is a huge, beautiful country. But it's much more than just, a shape on a map. It's a place filled with people and adventure and areas. Where is the race being held? And paint a picture for the listener about where it's going to be.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having us. And it's a privilege to share with the world about this dream, what we have been dreaming together for so many years. As Heidi mentioned, I would say thanks to Heidi and Stephan for trusting us and for supporting us in our big, big, big dream we have been dreaming for many, many years. So India, as Heidi mentioned, yes, adventure finds you. So that's what every Indian state is all about. India is so unique, the kind of terrain we have, the culture, the languages we speak, the tribes we have. So every adventure is so, so unique. And we are so happy and proud that Arunachal Pradesh, our host state, they understood the concept and what an adventure racing sport can bring to the sport and highlight the adventure tourism, the adventure side of Arunachal Pradesh. So the race is going towards the northeast part of India, where we find the Himalayas, nestled the village, the border villages, which is nestled between the Himalayas, where we see all the ridge lines, where we see all the mountains, the snow-capped mountains, the hanging bridges, the rivers. The moment you cross one hanging bridge, you go to a different tribe. So that's the beauty about this sport which we are talking about, the state which we are talking about, where every tribe has their own languages, their own way of living. They survive on the local food. They grow their own food, right? It's in a high altitude area where the temperatures varies from to minus degrees. They get very less summer, but it's more of winter state. And then they get the monsoon first. So that is the best part, where those states, the northeastern states of our country, they get the monsoon first, then the rest of the country, and they are in a terrain where it is meant for a sport like this. The moment you cross, you just take, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so we will not talk about the other side of it, like what happened on the when we were racing, we were stuck on the road because of the landslides. But that's part of adventure, and that's the beauty where people know they live in those areas where they talk about all these things, and that is the beauty where you hear all these adventures and all this your journey, the entire journey. So this race is going to be that journey where people is going to be finding themselves, learning the local way of life, understanding what makes that state so unique and so different than the rest of the world, rest of the India.
And so it's clear as I look at the map, and if anyone looks up the name of the state on the map, it's the northeastern part of India, right? And you mentioned a wide variety of weather and topography and the local indigenous tribes and the culture and all of that. So I understand correctly that choosing this state, it's clearly designed to be a complex and difficult area to have a race on purpose, because adventure racing is challenging by nature. It sounds like you were very thoughtful about picking this part of the country to hold the race.
Exactly, yes. And Mechukha especially is one of India's border village, which is developing and which has so much to explore, so much to see about it, but people don't know because we always think, okay, it's going to remote places, but that's what adventure racing is all about. Going to remote places and learning, exploring, and just finding out your true self.
What I want to do eventually is I want to come back to you and we'll ask about the logistics, right? If someone wants to travel to the race, where do they fly into? What do the transfers look like? But we'll come back to that because I want to kick it over to Stephan now. The last time Stephan and I spoke at length was putting on the Adventure Racing World Championships in South Africa, which, as we all remember, was a legendary, huge race, great turnout, well received. Stephan has decades of adventure race planning experience, and he's deeply involved on the ground in putting together this course in this area. So, Stephan, I want to come to you. The race covers roughly 450 kilometers over 5 days. When you started putting the course together, what were the things that you saw that you absolutely wanted to include, the things you wanted to have, the terrain? Obviously, you can't go too deep into the race course. That's held secret until the beginning. But talk to us a bit about your race planning strategy when you saw the landscape you had to work with.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, for hosting this. Well, firstly, I didn't really have any non-negotiables. I went to India. We've done a few events in India in different areas from about 2016 to 2019. So I had a fair idea of sort of what India can produce. And I mean, anybody who's been to India, any adventure racer who's been to India, me and Heidi that spent a lot of time in the past in India, know that this is the ultimate country for adventure racing. It just ticks all the boxes. So my first time in this state, my first time in the towns of ARWS and Mechukha, where the races is. So I went with an open mind. The non-negotiable will be more in the question of standards. So Adventure Racing World Series have certain standards. So that standards is a non-negotiable. So for every race in the world under this umbrella should have the same non-negotiable. That is very important. And then for us, since our first expedition race in 2011, our motto, me and Heidi's motto, was basically every race for us is a world champs. So from when the person enters, see their first look on the website, right through to welcoming into the country, to the opening ceremony, right through the course with all the technical parts, all the administration and booklets and stuff, right to the closing ceremony and sending the people off. We want to have a world champs every time. If we have 5 teams, or like we were privileged in Africa to have over 110 teams, that is a non-negotiable for us. So I think it's very important that for us, our race, we stay with the sort of informal agreement in our series that as a qualifier races, we're looking for the winning team to be at about 72 hours, which just gives you over 3 days. Mm-hmm. So the big race of the year will be the world champ. So that is sort of what I work on the course. So there's nothing, the geography will determine the distance. So at the moment, the distances are just short of 400, where we can take our top teams into 72 hours. So just from a race point of view, the trekking, obviously, which is different in this area, is obviously the jungle trekking. So it's very different than I've ever been used to, and I think most other people, to have that sort of dense jungle. The water, we will always, everybody wants to paddle on moving water. So luckily, we've privileged in this areas. We've got hundreds of rivers to and hundreds of kilometers of rivers to choose from. So we have nice moving white water, nothing to scare anybody, but just enough to keep everybody exciting.
Good movement,
And
kind
then
of
our
brisk.
mountain biking, because of the elevation on the mountain biking, up and down the hills, if you're cycling on dirt or single track or tar or semi sort of tar road, that mountain biking, it's a variety. As long as we have all those things, I think we tick all the boxes.
I appreciate, part of my job here, Stephan, and you remember this from Africa. My job is to try to wring out of the race director as much information as they want to cough up about their race to the listener, right? Because it's secret, but I still like to figure some things out there. I do like how you mentioned the dense jungle, the moving water, and the mountain bike elevation. So folks who are getting ready to race in India, get ready for those parts of the race course coming alive there. Sayeesha, I want to kick it over to you now while we're having this conversation. Clearly you have a strong local understanding of the area, of the state, of the race course. So when you began to put this together and to think about the race, what did you find logistically was very challenging? Organizationally was hard to put together. It's always hard to bring a new race into an area. What challenges did you have to address along the way when you work alongside your race directors?
Thank you, Brian, for hosting us. And organizing a race in remote parts of the country comes with its own challenges and its own advantages and disadvantages. So, as in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, so the place is called Mechukha, which is, as Ajita mentioned, it is a border village, and it requires to reach there. It takes certain amount of time by road, and if the weather is good, by air. That is, we never had happened to travel through air or anything. I've never seen it because the weather is always slightly dicey. So it's in the mountain parts of Arunachal Pradesh, and it's a very dense jungle, as Stephan mentioned. And they are making some roads now, so the landslide is very common, and it happens anytime. It doesn't give any invitation. So we were stuck for some time. Me and Stephan were in the exploring the places and scouting the places. We were stuck, and we were able to see how the manpower is moving the mountains to make some road and all. So those are the local challenges from the natural side of the Arunachal Pradesh state. And apart from this, there are other documentation, permissions, which is involved, and it is not a big challenge, but indeed it is a challenge, but it can be worked out. So the geographical challenge is more than any other challenge is what we've felt.
And so you mentioned, obviously, and you mentioned the documentation, logistical challenges. Every race director that I talk to, the biggest challenge they have is getting the permits and getting everyone to agree to put the race on. And there's no doubt that you're working on that, and being local and someone on the ground there really helps. This is an interesting place to have the race. And so I want to stay with you a little bit because you know the area so well. It sounds like the local organizing, the government body, the politics, the state really wanted to bring you to this part of India because they feel it's so beautiful. Talk a bit about their motivation to bring a race there and what the racer will experience when they're there from a natural beauty perspective.
The documentation part will also be not much of a challenge because the Adventure at Mechukha is hosted by the government. So majority of our documentation is being taken care. But still there are certain elements which we have to put across to the government. And government is so motivated to make this a place, or the entire state to make it as a destination for adventure. So they are bringing more and more people. They're bringing more and more tourism. They're bringing more and more economy to this particular small village. So because it is so remote, to reach there, you need to cross many other villages, which is absolutely stunning and beautiful. So anywhere you can stop by and stay over a night before you reach to your final destination, Mechukha. So government is putting all their efforts to make these kind of remote villages, remote destinations to be an spot for an adventure because they found that their goal was to be like make it more tourism oriented, but they found out that like now they called in experts and all, and we were also called in, and they said like we were to make this a place as adventure destination. Okay, and the beauty of this particular place is unimaginable. Yeah, as Heidi always mentions, it's unimaginable adventure at this place because like you will be running, you will be hiking, you will be cycling, and then you take a stop for a while to breathe, and the beauty will calm you down, and you will be motivated to go further. Yeah, because everywhere, wherever you go, it will be so beautiful. So seeing all these things, the government decided let's bring it more adventure or more exploration to this particular place with the help of so many other departments involved, including defense, including local tourism, including the educational value of this. Everyone came in, and the locals themselves wanted to have like a place where it can be called as adventure destination rather than just another tourism destination. So they gave the soul for a place called Mechukha as an adventure destination. So government is doing everything they can to make this as we don't have to build any infrastructure or create any structure or anything because the entire place itself is made for adventure racing.
And you're right about that. And one way where you're very lucky, we had this conversation with an American race director the other day, and we were lamenting how in America, how we seem to struggle so much with the government when it comes to financial support and permitting and things like that. And you're bringing this alive right now in your conversation about Mechukha, how they're taking care of you, and you see it in Central and South America and Europe, you see it in Asia. The fact that the governments realize the value of bringing events like this into the area. So therefore, they really, really support you in many different ways, logistically, financially, things like that. And I love the fact, Sayeesha, that you really emphasized the adventure-based part of Mechukha, that it's a part of the world that should be given that kind of exposure. It really sounds like, too, the challenge is getting to the start line, as with any big race. But once there, that the racers will have a great experience. Heidi, I want to kick it back over to you now. You know, you have a lot of race director experience between your role in ARWS, the fact that you spend so much time in so many different races, the races you've put on there. Working with a newer race in a new area, what are the things that you're really emphasizing that have to be part of this race for the race to be successful? What can the racer expect when they get on the ground? And what has your experience taught you that has to be present for that?
Yeah, Brian, it is like Stephan mentioned before. I mean, I think I need to bring in here in the conversation that, we have a long-standing relationship with Ajita and Sayeesha. We've been coming a long way. They 100%, they've been to many of our Expedition Africa events and our World Championship event. They were with us in Lesotho. You know, the relationship with them, they've been living with us in our house like for a month in South Africa. So what I'm trying to say is that the partnership between these two parties fully understand this question you've just mentioned, the importance of creating an event that is on very, very high standard to striving for excellence in the way we dream about. And like Ajita said, it has been a very big dream for them. And we came together and we sat together and decided, okay, but what from our experience, from more of an international experience, what is crucially important for teams to come there? And I think, there's definitely a lot of things that's important, but one of them is that they need to have the trust in that the race directors will look after them and basically crafted the way for them that, you know what, pack your bag, get on a flight and come to India. And then when you're there, your family, your friends, nobody needs to worry about you because we will take care of you. And meaning in the sense of you email us, we will support and help you. Since you land at the airport, what do you need to do? Here you get your SIM card. Here you get on a bus. Here you sleep overnight in Delhi. Here you don't need to worry about it because I think we have all so much in life going on. We have families, we have life, we have work, we're trying to get to our training. And then you look at events and you think, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to go and sleep. Where must I go? There's just a list of accommodations. No, with this event, we've included India as a full package that, I mean, we like Ajita and Sayeesha have not even yet mentioned the most spectacular thing of this race is that teams will stay in homestays. So, and I think that is what we're trying to mention is that we don't need to create anything. Everything is there in India. Everything is there in Arunachal Pradesh. So from an organizer perspective, as you go to our website, we're trying to clearly explain to you what is required from you. And since you land in India, we will take care of you. We have your accommodation fixed. We have your transport fixed in this race. You will sleep in homestays. We'll book it for you. We will book your car. You're traveling. They will pick you up. They'll drop you off. Your gear bins has been looked after. We basically will make sure that you just need to worry about looking after yourself and your team,
right,
basically
getting to the
in
start
the race.
line. Yeah.
And I think that is what we're really trying to do is to give you a high quality event, but also make it as easy as possible for you to travel to a destination. Maybe like you think daunting, oh, I'm going to India. I mean, yeah, you'll be taking you to the Arunachal Pradesh is the least dense populated state in India. We're taking you to this remoteness. We're taking you to a place where you will most probably never in your life will go if you're not coming for this event. Right. And then we sit in this privileged position where the government and the state is truly understanding what is adventure tourism, and truly supporting this event by all means to help us achieve this goal. And yeah, I think I'm not sure if any of my fellow race directors want to add in something here, but that is definitely for me. Make sure that all aspects of this race has been taken care of. It's not only the route we are looking after; we're looking after everything.
And I want to go to Ajita for that next question, right? Because she's so deeply involved in adventure racing in India and in Asia. But I just want to underline a point that you brought up there. You know, besides doing the media side of the races, I've also raced multiple multi-day races around the world, a couple Scotlands and Ecuador and Ozark and Faroe Islands and all of that. And what I will say is that, and this is out to the person right now who's considering jumping into a big race like this. One thing I found across the board, and we're going to get a taste of this year at the Endless Mountains with Rootstock Racing with the 5-day race that Team Dark Zone podcast is going to go race, is that the race directors always think about the racer and the teams getting to the event and getting into the start line in one piece and supporting them when it comes to transfers, logistics, hotels, and helping them either supplying those things as part of the fee or smoothing that out and making it easier to get there, right? Because to your point, Heidi, it's very daunting to think that you're going to fly to a foreign country to go do a race. But knowing that the race director, the race team is prepared to support you along the way makes it a lot easier to take that leap. And I just want to underline the fact that I've heard that and I've seen that, I've lived that time and time and time again for all these different races that we've done. So thank you for saying that. Now, Ajita, I want to kick it over to you because as Heidi talked about, you've been a big person on the scene in adventure racing around the world, and especially with the growth in India. Talk to us a bit about what it must be like for you to be going through this process now of having seen so many races around the world, and now you're bringing one to your home. What's it like?
Yes, Brian, it's a big undertaking, I would say, to dream of something like this. As Heidi is like this new tagline for this, like unimaginable adventure, which we are creating. And we have our tagline is like amplifying adventure. The moment we learned about adventure racing and we interacted with so many race directors at different occasions. Mostly we have met so many race directors at Heidi and Stephan's Race Expedition Africa and the World Champs. So interacting with every race director, interacting with every athlete who have been racing for 20 years or more, they were our inspiration of something like this can be done. In India is the best place where we were like, why can't we have regular races? Why can't we have expedition races in our country? Our country is meant for that. We have desert, we have snow, we have Himalayas, we have rivers, We can go on and on. We have everything what an adventure racing or what an adventure racer is looking for. India has it. But it was somewhere that I would say that confidence and also this taking capacity, like, okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Let's just do it. So while we were gaining that confidence of like doing trial and error, learning, we were backed by the experts. We were backed by our friends. We were backed by our people who have spent years and years together. So I must say, like, Heidi and Stephan taught us so much and shared so much of their knowledge, shared so much of their skills. They were like, anytime I get stuck somewhere or we were having some doubt about it, we can like reach out to them, ask them for their assistance. And that's the best part of this community, that it has never let us that you are alone. You have a dream. Yes, we are here. We are here for you. We are going to take care. We are going to teach you. We're going to assist you. And let's do this. So it is a big dream. It is a big risk which we are taking here. And this qualifier itself, it is, while we are talking about all the good things, yes, it's easy to do this, but it's a very, very massive undertaking in terms of logistics. While course planning, the boys were stuck. We were stuck at one point. The weather changes constantly. Things are not moving. The language, even for us, we are going from down south to the northeast. The language is a bit of a challenge for us. So we have to learn their way of living, their way of understanding, and how they do it. So considering all those things, and we become the bridge between our international teams, between Heidi and Stephan, trying to communicate in a way where the things happens on the ground, as well as the people who are doing it, they understand the need of an art, that why certain things have to be done in certain ways. So over the years, what we have learned from our peers, from Heidi and Stephan, we have put that into execution. We have put that into that this is how adventure racing must be done. Because it's a very niche and new sport for our country. Not many people understand, not even government. We have to give them multiple presentations to make them understand and to bring them into our line of action, that this is how we want things to be done.
So let me ask you this question while you're talking there, because I had a chuckle when you talk about explaining the race to people. Have you had the experience of when, and anyone can answer this question, but Ajita, I'll let you kick it off, that when you go to a local organizing body to explain adventure racing, they cannot believe what you're talking about. Like, they're like, wait, people race for what, 5 days? And they can't wrap their heads around it, right? Did you have that experience?
100%. Every time. I can say every time we ask, people ask, are these guys crazy?
Yeah.
Races for 5 days, 10 days. When I told them that in South Africa, the world champs, there was 900 kilometers of course and people race for 10 days. He said, what? Really? Do people really race for such long distances? And nobody is willing to believe that a human mind and body can do something like this. And here we are, sharing that passion. Here we are talking and showing to the world that yes, it's possible. Now what an opportunity, and we are so fortunate to have this in our country. And to finally show to the world, yes, meet these other guys who make this possible.
So I think it's great that you're introducing in India, to your home country, the fact that things like this can and do happen. But to the point, it's a tough thing to explain to a lot of people that have that's going on there. And so I credit you for trying to figure that out and to put that together. What was it like for you, Stephan, in working with a larger team and organizing a race and making certain that it was smoothly when it came to course design and things like that? What was that experience like for you?
No, look, it is a new concept. I think as South Africa, we became used to of no support. We never had any government support, and our team was very small. The team was basically me and Heidi. And now we have a much bigger team, and the team in India, Sayeesha and Ajita, they come with their own team, so that makes it much easier. And obviously, the government support is just just amazing to see. I mean, to have adventure racing accepted like that on state level, from an energy point of view, in a real interest, not a fake interest because somebody sort of somewhere allocated budget. And then obviously the financial contribution they make, it's like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could have that support in Africa for the last 10 years, we would have created so much more magic. So I think it makes it exceptionally easy. I mean, we scouted me, and so we spent 4 weeks together. I didn't drive the car once. I had a driver for 4 weeks. Where do you get a driver for 4 weeks? I mean, I ate at restaurants every day, different little shops next to the road, and food was ordered for me, and so you can't complain. I mean, life was rosy. So, I mean, it's a privilege. The route is the route, You look out of your window, you see mountains, you see river, you see mountain bike. You just have to put it together. I think our biggest, obviously, expedition Africa right through is we still on the sort of straight line route start, doing a journey. So I think once you're in that principle, it changes a lot of way how you do things. So even your navigation, if you do navigation, your navigational system and your navigational requirements and how you put checkpoints out is very different if you do straight line racing or if you do, circular regaining type racing where it's more of orienteering sort of navigation. So that system, obviously we all agreed on. So I think that makes it then simple. We don't have to have that fundamental sort of shift of where we're going with our event. So yeah, there's really no problems. I mean, the climate it's what everybody wants. So the climate wasn't the problem. So really, I think it was exceptionally easy. Obviously, the misconceptions about India, which people will say is unknown. So to unpack that word unknown, what does unknown mean? Is unknown, does it create misconceptions about the destination? Does it create fear? Does it create danger? Or do you see the word unknown bringing things out like adventure, excitement? Sure. That's me and Heidi definitely fall in that category. So we see the unknown as that. And the misconceptions about India, the high population. I mean, where we're going. I mean, it's a known fact. You can Google it. It's the state with the lowest population. The food. I mean, I stayed there for a month. I never got sick or anything. I ate everything from the street. So all that and maybe dirty. I mean, the water where we paddle on. We post a lot on social media. The water you can see 2-3 meters down to the bottom. So, I mean, all those misconceptions, it's quickly out of the line. And we just have to send that message to the world that unknown means adventure and excitement.
I think that's one thing you've talked about multiple times during the recording today is the idea that where it's centered in northeastern part of India, it's the state with the lowest density of population, right? And so therefore, and you have the mountains there and you have the rivers there and all of that. And so I hear what you're saying is from an international perspective, when you push back on the idea, because India is it's one of the largest countries in the world, right? And there's always going to be a variety of experience, and you're all attempting to underline the beauty of the state and where it is and what it's going to be like there. Stephan, staying with you just for a second longer, knowing you have the decades of experience that you've put together here, did anything strike you as unique and fascinating that you can't wait for people to see when they come race there?
Yes, I think the main difference between this race and any other race that I was involved in is what was created for us before we arrived there. So basically, we're starting in a village. I mean, it's on the website, so I'm not giving anything away. We're starting in a village called Arlo, which is a village, a town, which is about 300 meters above sea level. It's on it's two major rivers, Siom and the Supi, if I can remember correctly, major rivers, junction. And then we're finishing in Mechukha. Mechukha is an alpine sort of alpine sort of village with pine forest, and I think just over 2,000 meters high. And the highest point we're going about 2.4, 2.5 on the mountain peaks there. But if you look, within the distance of 5 to 10 kilometers from the town, we start looking at peaks of 4,000 to 5,000 meters. So so basically you have many events in one. So it's not like we have this one area, we're racing around it, doing circles in the bush there, everything looks the same. And you land in one area and 5-6 days later, you're going to be in a total different area. The culture changes from every village you go through as you proceed up this journey in from low altitude to high altitude. And I witnessed it with my own eyes. The way the people look, the way the houses are built or the structures are built, the food changes, the clothing on the people changes, the scenery changes, the temperature changes massively. But all in limits of which brings adventure. We don't have sub-zero temperatures. So we have, yes, and if you can get a cold front on the last few days, you're going to get 0 in the middle of the night. But during the day, you're still going to get 10, 12. So there's no extremes, but we have this journey that we're taking you from, especially if it's your first time, that you start low and you end high. That this whole 5 days, like every day is going to be it's just like it actually bombards your senses. And I mean, you can't really understand that concept if you've never been to India. Your senses are so awake there. The food, the villages, the interaction of the people, the friendliness. I mean, I really think we've discovered the gem here. And then this is only one little pocket, one little valley in India.
Your point's well taken. The idea that having the chance to go to a place like this and do a race like this is wonderful, right? And to have that 5-day journey and that adventure. And I love the fact that you mentioned the start city and the last city, because people will start Googling that. And so you really capture that. And so Sayeesha, kicking over to you a little bit, hearing this conversation about the race and it coming together and it getting more real for you. How does this make you feel right now when you think about the fact that we're recording it, we're talking about it, we're talking about the area? What are some of the emotions, Sayeesha, that you have in being part of the organizing team?
Oh, don't ask. Why? Because, Brian, I still remember sending an email to Heidi saying I would like to volunteer for one of their races, like a decade ago. And now we are standing together and doing an event. As Ajita and Heidi mentioned, it's a big dream. And we were really humbled. And where we are standing is because Ajita is a great support for me and to build a community like this where hardly anyone knows about adventure racing. And earlier we used to know we are the one who's doing adventure racing in India, which was a positive thing and an advantageous, saying that we are the first. But now there's no awareness about adventure racing. So we came up with breaking the adventure racing into miniature versions, like the sprint races. But sprint races also 60 kilometers or 8 hours or 10 hours. That is also huge in India because there's no awareness about adventure racing. And for that, we have to break it, come to 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers and start doing workshops, everything. So workshops, we went to schools, we went to colleges, we went to corporates to tell them about adventure racing. And now we were aiming whenever we do any small events or any adventure racing events, we used to tell each other that one day we will be doing an expedition style race.
Right.
And because the expedition style race is absolutely brilliant and it's a different level. And as Ajita mentioned earlier about our company's tagline is amplifying adventure. Everybody has a definition of adventure of their own. And now we are so we are jumping when we got to know that we will be doing it. And we put so much of hard work and try to explaining things when, to be frank, when we wanted to, when we are telling the government saying that we would like to do something like this, they said how many motorbikes or cars you will be using this for? How many participants you're going to get? What kind of motorbikes? What kind of cars you're going to come in? I said, sorry, sir, there is no engine allowed. The engine is your human-powered engine. Our legs, our hearts,
legs are the
our
engine.
brains.
Motorbikes, please cut that out.
Our legs, absolutely. So we still remember their shock is are you serious? They're it's elevation. This is mountains. In Hindi, we call it pahad. This is pahadi area. You cannot survive. Even locals doesn't do this. So they said then slowly we have to break them into them, then show them the videos and then show them experience about our races in Expedition Africa World Champs. So then we have to make them to bring into an agreement saying that this is what it is. Then we have to do a smaller event over there and as a promo race. And then we did our national championship over there. And now we are doing an expedition style. So it's all consistency is what we believe in. And it's a proud moment for both of us collaborating with Stephan and Heidi and being our races globally, it's reaching to global. And then we are in a, inviting people from across the globe to our own home. So it's a different feeling for us.
That's great. It's just so exciting to hear it go on and where it started and where it's going. And it just the fact that you're on a global stage now, right? And there's all these other races that are going on. And Adventure Mechukha is one of those races. It's wonderful to hear the growth of how it goes on there. Logistics. Let's talk logistics a little bit. And Heidi, I'll kick it over to you for this if you want to take a peek at your computer and give me some of the logistical details. When are the dates of the race? When will people be expected to come in? When's the racing? When are they flying out? When will it be?
Well, Brian, we've just updated our website, and all the information is now correctly on our website. They can head into it. It is the Thursday and Friday, the 13th, 14th of November. Basically, we give teams an opportunity to reach. They can, of course, come earlier to acclimatize. We have advised teams to come straight into the event and rather use their onwards travel post-event. Afterwards, rather go and do your rest of your India travel if you want to go to the Taj Mahal or visit other areas. And Ajita will specifically help teams with extended travel arrangements if they want to do some touristy things. So teams have the opportunity to come in. We will then, they have to connect from Delhi, of course, to Arunachal's capital or to the airport. Ajita, you can help me with that name. What is it? What was the airport's name?
Yeah, it's a Dibrugarh.
Yes. And then from there, we will, as we mentioned, we will have a team waiting for you. Your name will be on a name board. Your driver will wait for you. We will have trucks ready to pick up your bike boxes. And we have a whole logistical plan to get everything moved to Alu. In Alu, as Stephan mentioned, is this, and it's quite a big travel. Don't make a mistake. I mean, this is an adventure like
this is the deal, right? Exactly. This is like you're flying like to Miami for the weekend. I mean, this is like this is the real deal. This is racing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think just we make it all sound so lovely. Just remember this is adventure. And I think like Stephan mentioned now, the census is a complete overflow. While Ajita and Sayeesha and Stephan spoke, really, I got so emotional just hearing them and how proud and humbled they all are and excited about it. And I think this is what it is at the end of the day. We're creating this unimaginable adventure. I don't have words to put it out. So just to get to the starting line, to get to Alu, is to the registration venue, is an adventure by itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just getting to the start line.
We'll make it easy for you. You get there. We'll pick you up. We have trucks getting your bike boxes. So the trucks move in the one side, all the trucks together with all the bike boxes, and then the other side we move the teams as they arrive. So if a team decide they want to arrive a day or two before, then we'll pick them up a day or two before so that they can acclimatize and be a little bit more in the area. And then once we've met there, we have a whole prologue, opening registration, etc., etc. Everything is, like I said, clearly now stated on our website. Then from there, the race will start on the Monday morning. They have the whole week to race. Don't worry to any teams that think that they're not capable. Stephan has worked in enough opportunity between him and to move teams forward. That is not a problem. We always get these questions, but will be good enough. Can we make the finishing line? We will get you to the finishing line. That is why I would not have trusted any other race director, of course, in the world in this situation I'm with. So Stephan is obviously this is arrangement with my husband. I know I can trust him. We'll get everybody in safe spot at the finishing line. And once at the finishing line, you'll stay in homestays, beautiful with a family. And I think we haven't mentioned much of that, but that is incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. By the way, that's a pretty cool. Say a bit more about that. I love that idea. So you're staying with. So you're not staying in an inn or a villa. You're staying with the local family.
No, you're staying in a family, and I'll post now more photos of it. Brian, it is so special. You stay in a house, they will cook and create food for you. They normally ask you what you eat, but you don't eat. You can eat with them or you can go outside, but they cater for you. You have your own rooms, bathrooms. It's beautiful and clean. It's all accredited by the tourism department, and that is where they get involved because we are spreading these teams at the finishing line all over the town. And then we have a fantastic closing of the event. And I trust you, like at the National Championship event where I was invited to meet all the officials and delegates on my previous trip, they really had cultural dance and entertainment and food. Brian, I promise you, you will not believe it until you see it. It is such, and I think that is why we are also honored by this privilege that we have. It is so difficult to get a partnership with a government that so truly believe in your vision.
I'm really jealous of that, by the way, how good this partnership is.
And they really want to, yes, and they really want to show this beauty and culture and experiences with the people. So that's what I think. Yeah, I think so. That is all the logistics from the beginning to the end. You will have your closing function. And then after the closing function, again, we'll do exactly the same. We will move you back to Alu to sleep over because the drive is just too big. You can't do it in one day, except I obviously did it in one day to reach the starting line of Ajita and Sayeesha's national championship event. I nearly didn't make it. We had to drive through the night. But for the team, she'll go back, sleep over again, and then do your onwards travel from the next day. But again, because it's such a specialized event, if there's any special request, for teams that want to stay longer or meet more local people or tribes, that is where really Ajita and Sayeesha will help to really integrate us into all of that. But that is all in a nutshell now, very clearly stated on our website. Teams can just go there. They can obviously follow our social post. We're going to post now a lot of information about, what we've seen, the people like Stephan, and he's made a lot of clips about the food, which we've, eaten, and the people we've experienced in every village. And that is why this is, for us, adventure. It's more than just an adventure race. It's a complete.
Well, that's what this is, right, Heidi?
That's the word different.
And we've seen that before, Heidi, right? We've seen that there are some races that you go and do where the easy is not the right word to use, but like for this race, this is a true blue adventure. The adventure of getting to the race, of meeting, of making the transfers, the local customs, being welcomed with open arms by the community, then the race itself, and then on the beginning and closing ceremonies. Like this is the full package, right? You'll get all, as much as you can. I mean, it's 10 days basically when you think about it, with 5 days racing in the middle.
Yes. And definitely, and I think what Sayeesha and Ajita mentioned before, you need to get a special permit to go into this state.
Right.
There's a lot of those admin that once you have your visa, a paperwork needs to be done. You get stopped kind of at another border post before you can continue further. The idea behind this is that each team get, like Stephan mentioned, they had their own driver. We had, myself and Ajita had our own driver. You get a car and driver, a local person taking you from one point to the next point. You're going to stay in Alu, and that driver will take you to the registration. You have your own chauffeur, basically. But he can speak the language. He can get you all the food and the food stalls, and you can basically get anything in India. I think it's, you can hear all the excitement in our voices.
Yeah, you can tell that the four of you are just so excited to have it happen.
You know what, Brian, to get such a true adventure, it is like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that comes along. And I think myself and Stephan's been in the industry for how many years? And, that's why I said India is such a, it's a humbling experience to go to India. And for an international racer to truly feel people are so beautiful and wonderful, and the food and everything. And you can hear Ajita and Sayeesha, they've built up years of, their own crafting it hard, and out and start creating something by themselves where there's nobody else and no support. It's years of investment and learning, going where they can around the world to gain the experience. So for us and for them, or for ARWS Series to have a local partner like NthAdventure really trying their best to grow and develop the sport in India, it is a true privilege. And I think for myself and Stephan's, on a personal note, it's wonderful for us to share our knowledge with the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is wonderful for us to, you know, maybe sometimes we are a little bit hard. You know, we have certain ways we are doing it. But to transfer our skills to other race directors, all the race directors should also see that as a privilege for them to transfer your skills and your knowledge to other race directors. And I've seen now all over the world different partnerships in this way happening because, you know, you can share your knowledge and the things you've learned and the mistakes you've made. Yeah. With you know, the future generation. But anyway, that was a quick question, but a long answer. Sorry about that.
No, but Heidi, but you're spot on there. And Ajita, we're going to come to you for a second, Ajita, for the final word. So get ready to finish up. But I just want to point something out. You said there is that in the universe of adventure racing, right? You have adventure race teams that do these races, then you have race directors, and you see it time and time again how, regardless of the size of the race directors of all stripes and of all sizes are always ready to help other race directors do well. You see it all the time. Yes. You see all the time that they want. And this is a really, really clear example of you and Stephan bringing your talent to Sayeesha and Ajita because you want them to do well, right? To pass that along to the next generation. And I tell you, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I don't know if it's because of the way the world is today, but I am just seeing so much conversation on the idea of legacy and what are we going to leave behind? Right. And the fact that now that a race is coming to a beautiful part of India with a young organizing team that really is so proud of their home country, you really kind of hit the nail on the head there. So yes, you admitted it was a long answer to a short question, but I think that you really captured a lot of that. And I appreciate that. I know the audience will appreciate that. Ajita, just about an hour here. We're almost done. You're going to take us out. Give us your final thoughts and wrap it up.
So I start with just adding to what Heidi mentioned is that we are going to give this VIP service to all the teams coming to India so that they suffer better. Just putting it into our AR term that you're going to come here, enjoy all the service, and you're going to suffer better. Taking that part away. Yes. And to all our friends watching us, or they're going to hear this. Yeah, they're going to hear this podcast that we have been waited long enough. Every time they used to ask whenever about our Indian traditions, our Indian festivals, our cuisine, the food we eat, the dresses we wear. Now this is it. This is the moment. This is the event where we're inviting everybody to come and experience and live India with us. Experience our country. We are so proud of every race I've gone. I usually, like Heidi and Stephan will know, I carry my own spices, I carry my own food, and I want to cook and share that with people. Right now, the same thing I want to offer to all my friends, all the teams I've been fortunate enough to connect with. I want to just come and welcome and just live India with us. Just for these 10 days, come and experience this race, which is, of course, coming with a lot of expertise. We have the experts designing this course, so they're taking care. Stephan is taking care on the technical aspect, and my husband is here, and Heidi and me, we are taking care of making sure that every moment you live in India is truly, truly incredible. As India says that India is incredible.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of the Dark Zone Adventure Racing Podcast. Thank you to our 4 race directors for talking about Adventure Mechukha. It is going to be a great race. It's always fun to see races go into new areas, and we are delighted to throw a big spotlight on their work. Check out the show notes for all of the links and information, and thank you for being here, and thanks for racing. Hope that your training is going well as we head into another season of adventure racing all around the world. And as always, remember, you keep racing, and we'll keep talking.